All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another rendition of Floral Foolishness.
Sports.
Oh yeah, it's Island time on Floral Foolishness Sports. We will.
Sports.
There we go. We will debate current topics inside the world of sports and society itself, no matter how unbelievable or ridiculous they may be, all while rocking crunchy, fresh island vibe. So, okay, what the hell is that? Is that like
Let's see. So that's a thing of coconut milk. I think
ah?
that's a coconut. This is some kind of weird fruit or vegetable that I've never seen.
Is that a
I think that's an
potato?
olive, which it might be a potato. I think that's an olive, which I don't understand why, because they don't have those in Hawaii. And then is that a gourd, I think, and a palm tree.
Okay, you would think
Yeah.
with the coconut, you would want the lime in the coconut, would you not? We're here all day.
No, apparently in this case you put the olive in the coconut and then you stir it all up.
Dude, that's just disgusting.
A little sweet and
Salty.
salty, baby.
Ugh, Jesus, that's one thing I can't stand. Okay, so anyways, I'm Stoczy. I didn't rename anybody this time because hopefully you know who we are. Also with me is the Dragon Wrangler, Jeremy Phelps. Always start off with opening statements. Jay, what is on your mind while I change our names?
Yeah, so this one I'm actually really excited about. It's been on my mind for a little while now. So there's a thousand like trash reality TV shows out there, but one of them's called Love is Blind. And basically the premise behind it is two people fall in love from behind a wall. They basically put you in a room and you can't see the person you're talking to, but you can hear them. So this did an episode in Charlotte or a season in Charlotte. And so what I want to talk about with the show though, that I'm really excited to talk about is the superficialness of every single person that's ever been on it. So hear me out on this. Every single person they put on this show is just absolutely drop dead gorgeous. Like every single person's at least a 9, if not a 10. They're just really, really good looking people who are
Hmm,
like single basically because they choose to be, not because they have to be.
hmm.
And then what'll happen is they'll like, fall in love with this person superficially and then meet them. They'll be like, oh my God, I'm so scared they're not going to be attractive. And like most of the time they're like, whoa, they're way prettier than I ever thought they'd be. But sometimes they're like, huh, they're not really what I was thinking. And it's like, wow, because she's a fucking brunette instead of a blonde. Sick, bro. You're really fucking killing it right now. But where I'm going with this is we need to do the real social experiment version of this, where there's actually people on there who are fucking hideous. There's some people who are absolutely just amazingly gorgeous, and then there's people who have a unibrow, or
Ooh,
there's people who
pick me,
have
pick me.
there's people who have like a receded hairline. They're like 25, but their hair is like just gone already. I just think that like if we're gonna play into the superficialness of this to see if love really is blind, then just saying, oh, you get this other gorgeous person doesn't do that. Let's pick somebody who we actually have to find out. Would you have to be blind to love them?
Doug Cannon, wherever you're at, there's a chance for you yet in
Yes,
the
somebody
silver screen land.
somebody in rec specs. Somebody in rec specs. See, we have that.
Yeah, see, this is a great idea, I think, because those shows are always just they're so superficial, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, let's start you into the real world a little bit, bitch. That'd be
I'm
fun.
saying, like, there's this stupid show on Netflix called Too Hot to Handle, where they basically put just really stupid, really attractive people, and they're like, "Can you go this long without having sex? Let's go the other way and have it be like far too hot to handle or not hot enough to handle, where it's like just hideous people in a room together. And it's like, can you go a month without playing like Quidditch or Dungeons and Dragons? You can have all the sex you want because we already know that you won't. Can you go a month without like, I don't know, fucking building a robot?"
I I, I don't know. That kind of sounds like a fun room. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be in that
See,
room,
but you
building
wouldn't be able
robots
to
and
do
D
it.
and D's. I
But
know
that's my
I
point.
would.
Then you'd lose. Exactly.
I would
See?
lose. Yep, I
Yeah.
would fucking lose that.
And
Damn.
then yeah, all the money goes to somebody really attractive, and you have to watch them spend it on hookers and blow. That's the prize for losing.
Now I really want to win, so they have to watch me blow it on robots and D&D day. Yeah.
Should have been a television producer in life. There's just so many good ideas.
Hey, it's never too late. Follow your dreams, kids. Sometimes
It's
they'll
never
just
too late.
burn in a fucking trash fire. Anyways, yeah, so let's see here. Opening statement for this week went down for the Daytona 500, 66 running, missed it because of all the the fun weather that was going on down there.
Good
But
job, Florida.
yeah, so great job there, Florida. I really appreciate that. It was my 21st year too. And it felt like the pandemic a little bit, just because like that year was going to be awesome. Like I was going to go see Padres game opening day in San Diego on my birthday, earliest start ever to the Major League Baseball season. Then, the world kind of ended. So my problems are really minimal at that point. But it really felt like that down there, just watching the rain and shit. I was like, God damn it. And then once NASCAR was like, let's start it at 4 p.m. on Monday. It's like, well, okay, I'll just go fuck myself right now. Thanks for that. Um, but the thing I want to talk about was sometime God loves drunks and idiots. All right.
That's
Or whatever
especially in
power.
Florida.
Yeah.
Especially
Whatever.
in Florida.
Yeah. And we will come back to Florida in particular a little bit later.
Foreshadowing.
Ooh. But in my case, yeah, God loves drunks and idiots. So we arrive at this hotel in St. Augustine, Florida. I flew down to Jacksonville, and it's kind of like halfway in between Daytona and Jacksonville at that point. And the people who picked me up had been driving for like 5-6 hours before that. And so it was like, okay, good stopping point. Random. There was nothing to it other than, oh, okay, there's a beach right across the street and there's like food. Yay. So we just picked that, and it was kind of sketch, a little bit. Um, if you're one of these more pinky up people, to me, it was just like, whatever, it's a bed. But we go in, and the lady's like, oh, are you guys here for the Willie Nelson concert? And she
Fuck
asked
yeah.
that like we should know, and is like, well, I guess we fucking are now. Where is it? And so yeah, she was like, yeah, it's just right down the street. They probably got some tickets left. Lo and behold, they did. 90-year-old Willie fucking Nelson was just jamming out in St. Augustine amphitheater.
Yeah. But he's like 173 in weed years, so
Oh yeah. Well, that puts, I don't know, you look good. He still sounded good. Most of his songs were abbreviated, but so yeah, that
yeah,
was
the
kind of a
lung
weird.
capacity's only so great at this point in time.
Yeah, hey, I wish I was out there at 90 still crushing it like that. Hell, I
Yeah.
hope I get to 90. Anyway, so the lady's like, okay, and you could take the Uber, which is like gonna be $30, or you could take this other ride. It's gonna be $5 a person. All you gotta do is call this guy and ask him to be here. And so we did. And this thing, it's a this dude made his own vehicle, and it looks like a train with a smokestack, but it goes on the road. And
The
it's
lane train?
better. It's much better. Like it's got all this like Korean or Vietnamese type writing on there. I can't tell the difference. I don't know, honestly. It was somewhere in the Orient, that type of language. He's a Vietnam vet, is why I mentioned it could be possibly Vietnamese. He was just playing songs, and he had this whole thing hooked up to his like headset, and he was just telling jokes the whole time. And so when literally we rode a red choo-choo train to the Willie Nelson concert, and we were not stoned.
Well,
And
that was your first mistake.
right. And so we hop in, and then we were like to these other people, hey, screw your Uber, just get in here. This is going to be a lot cheaper, and we're going to get there about the same time. They're like, no, we already called it. We're prissy. And so we're driving down, they get their Uber, they speed up, go past. But like all concerts, there's going to be a bottleneck at some point. And this guy, you don't give a
Yep.
fuck with his little choo-choo train mobile. He's just fucking whipping it in and out of traffic. And so we catch up with them, and and we're waving at him like, hey, how's your price per car ride? Woo! And they're like, oh, it's great. And then someone's like, are they playing Willie Nelson in that fucking thing? And then they were like, no. And it's like, sucks to suck. It's like, yeah, it fucking does. So God loves, or whatever being you believe, or beings you believe, watch over us. They love alcoholics and dumbasses, and
The
I think,
flying spaghetti monsters. Yes.
yes, yeah,
Plural.
yeah, hey, yeah, it could happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna get off of that little red choo-choo train and get into Jeremy's favorite topic. I'm surprised we
Woo!
haven't done it every episode at this point, but NIL. NIL, it could be in a lot of acronyms, but what does it really mean, dear listener? Does it mean nothing in life? Nude immigrant league. Norway is lame. Whoa. I'm sorry, I should not have said that.
Whoa.
I should not have said that. Northern incandescent lights. All of it is irrelevant. EA Sports has announced their plans for the largest NIL deal in NCAA history related to their release of NCAA Foosball 2025. Yay, it's back. Finally, we get to play as college players playing fucking college football. Woo! The deal, which will be offered to every eligible FBS football player, consists of hold your piggy bank close to this one when I
Oh,
drop this fucking number.
getting crazy here. Yeah, getting crazy here.
$600. $600, Mr. Powers, and a copy of the game. So okay, $700 because EA is going to charge 100 for this shit. You just know it.
But
Athletes.
it doesn't come with the console. So if you don't already own the console, it's actually a wash of pretty much zero at that point. The
Mm,
$600 can cover the cost of the console.
mm, that's true. All right. So unfortunately, athletes at service academies are not eligible for NIL deals. So no Army, no Navy, no Air Force. Oh no, not the Space Force. What are we going to do without the Space Force Academy on the
Hey,
foosball game?
the Space Force football team's coming for the title in 2025.
Yes, they are. Uh, I wonder what Space Force's mascot is. Just Marvin
Um,
Martian,
Charlie the Comet.
Charlie the Comet. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Charlie the
so
Comet.
So I'll start with this one. Is a $600 flat rate NIL deal a good or bad idea for EA? Thinking of it from a organizational perspective, I think it's a bad idea for EA that they're paying out $600. Like for me, I don't see that many people buying this game to where you're going to recoup that large of an investment, right? Like, why start out at 600? I would have started off at $300, cut it in half as like your high end for this. Just because it's been so long since you've had a game out there that there's no guarantee it's going to work. People aren't going to just buy this thing just because. I mean, I know I still play my NCAA. What was it? 2014 was the last one.
14 was the last one, yeah.
Yeah, I still play that one from time to time, but I'm not going to go out there and just buy a new video game just because, oh my God, look, it's Caleb Williams or whoever. I'm not going to fucking do that. So I think it's too high, especially when you look at how Barstool Sports, when NIL first started, screwed athletes, right? They got them to get in for free and they couldn't sign any other NIL deal, right? All they got was,
Yep.
I'm a Barstool athlete, fucking hoodies and a backpack, and I think like $50 or something. And then it's like, oh, you can't sign with anybody else because your dumbass didn't read the contract. So
You're saying Barstool Sports isn't a bunch of really good dudes? Wow, this is
I
breaking
know,
news.
shocking. I know, shocking. I know. And if they pick us up, then maybe we'll change our tune. But until
I
then,
probably still won't like you, Portnoy, but if you do, then maybe I'll like you a little more than I do now.
yeah. And I'm just, this seems like way too big of an investment and way too risky to bring back a game that hasn't been in the psyche for a decade at this point. So why the hell try and bring it back with this much of an obstacle? Let alone the whole reason that they stopped doing this was because of the lawsuits that came in. Like, what do they think is going to happen? That this new era of kids just doesn't want to sue people? Look around. I think it's a
Yep.
terrible idea. I think you're going to go completely oppo on this, but still say it's a terrible idea. So let's hear it.
Yeah, I think I disagree with you. I think there's going to be a serious demand for this game. I think people are just the fact that it's been 11 years. I think people are just like going insane now, waiting for the release. I know, like, I don't know, a bunch of people in my circles are like, dude, this has got to come out soon. This has got to happen soon. I think it's going to be a really big seller. But From my side of things, I think the $600 flat rate is stupid, and here's why. So, and I'm going to use Caleb Williams as an example. I know he won't be in the game because he's already graduated at this point, or not graduated, but declared for the NFL. But all right, so every single player gets a flat rate of $600 in the video game, right? So that means if I'm the third string punter at Troy, I get $600 in the video game. If I'm Caleb Williams, I get $600 in the video game. Caleb Williams has already said he doesn't want to sign with any team that drafts him if he doesn't get ownership rights to that team and partial shares of that team. If you're talking about somebody buying this video game because they want to play as the players in it, right? Nobody's buying this game to play as the third string punter from Troy. People are buying this game to play as Caleb Williams, to play as whoever, right? Tim Tebow, whoever the case might be.
Whoa, sir. If I buy this game, I am now going to play as a third string punter. All right. You my boy, there, Troy. You my boy.
Put him in there at quarterback with his 12 passer rating.
And 6 running capability. Yep.
Yeah. So, a lot of screen passes. So, point of this being is, I just don't think the higher end athletes are going to sign this deal. So I think what's now going to happen is EA is going to screw themselves, because you're going to have all these guys who have no chance of being relevant in this game signing it because they're like $600. I know I'm never going to get any other NIL deal. Fuck yes, I'll sign this. Like if I'm the 12th string receiver at whatever, like at NCAA, actually they're FCS, but if I'm the 12th string receiver at Virginia, right, I'm definitely going to sign this deal because it's $600 I'm not going to get otherwise. If I'm Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm not. Why would I sign a $600 deal? So now every player in the game is somebody you just don't care about. The players you actually want aren't going to be in there. And EA said $600 flat rate. That's just what we're doing. We're not negotiating with anybody else. Then you're not going to get any player worth a damn. Like you look at the guys that are returning, like Quinn Ewers is coming back, right? Quinn Ewers is going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country this year. I promise you, Quinn Ewers is not signing a $600 in a video game deal. So unless there's certain select players you're willing to negotiate with once they hold out, I don't understand the purpose of this. So to Stotz's point, like you're investing all this money into deals that you can't take back just because you can't just decide suddenly, no, I just don't want to do it anymore. But for what? What are you gaining out of this? Nothing. The players you actually want aren't going to say yes to this.
Just playing devil's advocate and kind of thinking how EA would think about this for like your higher end folks, right? Like your Marvin Harrison Juniors. I think you almost sell it to them like, hey, this could build up your maybe not your draft stock, but your people stock, like your fan stock a little bit, right? Now, even though it doesn't seem like that much now, it's kind of like building goodwill, right? Like little Timmy can play as you at Ohio State. So whenever you go pro, they're going to buy your jersey anyway and be a fan. I think that's how they would sell that to them.
I think in 2014 when they made the last game, that probably would have worked. But now we become literally you're a professional athlete now. Now we've gotten to a point where just being a professional athlete in the college level, it's not going to work. I don't think it's going to work. I can't imagine when they're signing $1 million NIL deals with their school that they're like, oh, $600. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Take my name, image, and likeness. I'm going to go pro, but you can just have the rights to it. That's fine. No, they're not just going to sign away their rights when they're going pro.
No, and they shouldn't. Which, that's how the NCAA operated forever. So they're going to use those same arguments they used before. It's just, we're going to pay you a little bit of money and we'll just call it a fucking day. Here's your fucking video game. Is it the actual video game or is it going to be like a digital copy of it? Do we know?
I didn't look, but I would assume a digital copy, but it didn't specify.
Oh, that's even cheaper. Like, if I'm selling away my name, image, and likeness for that bullshit, I want a fucking hard copy of that game. Let's see.
Well, supposedly they're getting away from them altogether.
I heard
the other day that Microsoft's trying to get rid of a console altogether. No, they're trying to get rid of consoles altogether, and basically they would just move to a system where it's basically all just through the cloud.
That's nice. Oh yeah, so then you'd have to repeat purchase. So you'd
plug your controller into like your computer. Yeah, you'd plug your controller into like your computer or like your TV, and you just play like there was a console without there actually being a console, because every TV is a smart TV now anyway.
That's great.
Yep.
Just great news everywhere today, isn't it? Oh,
Hmm.
Jesus. Yeah, I think we're in agreement that this is a bad idea. Well, I think
Yeah,
for very
I
different
would say so.
reasons, but yeah, like God, it's been too. I get it that people have waited far too long, but I don't know. It feels like a bunch of dudes like that we went to college with who are excited about this.
Yeah.
And
I just feel like all the power right now is with the athlete. And EA is like, oh, well, we're EA, so we have all the power and all the control. They're just gonna do whatever we want. It's like, no, the power goes to the athlete. Like at the end of the day, if a game gets made or not, it doesn't benefit the athlete one way or the other. The athletes being in your game benefits you. It's like we're approaching this like you're in control when actually you have no say in anything whatsoever right now if you're
okay,
EA.
so okay, just thinking of FBS, there's what 121 football teams,
I think there's a little more than that. I think they're in the 130s at this point.
130s. Okay, 130 teams. You have 85 full Scully for that. So let's get a calculator out. All right. So you have, come on, we'll assume 130 times 80. So you have a pool of 10,400 players. Multiply that times 600.
There's 134 schools, but keep in mind it's not just the kids on scholarships. Their walk-ons get this too.
Okay. But just for the scholarship athletes at 130. So add a little bit more to that.
134, yeah.
Yeah. So add a little bit more to this number, but we're talking about payouts of 6,240,000.
Which to me seems like a low number. I think they're going to make so much more money than that at $100 a copy or whatever it is they're charging now, $80 a copy.
Yeah. Okay, so we got that 6 million. So divided by, let's assume it's like $70 a copy. So you would need to sell about 89,143 units just to break even.
They'll sell that on pre-sale alone. They'll be like 10 times that.
Yeah, they might. But how, okay, so it's an EA game, and just knowing how EA games are, where you can literally buy your way into like the highest
Mhm.
tiers and shit. What are going to be the add-ons for NCAA football 20 whatever?
I think playing as former players. I think they're going to have like former Heisman winners, and in the past, you've been able to just play with them just because. But I think we're in a time now where it's going to be like, oh, you want to play as like Reggie Bush? Sick. That's an extra $20. You want to play as like Matt Leinart? Awesome, $20.
Unlock
I
OJ
don't know.
Simpson.
I don't know why you'd want to play as Reggie Bush or Matt Leinart, but
When you could play as OJ. Yep.
yeah, exactly. Juice,
Yep.
juice.
The juice is loose, folks. And you have to pay even more to get his automatic weapons on the field. How about that?
That's the real power up right there.
Stiff arm pales in comparison to an Uzi. Automatic weapons. Yes. Speaking of automatic weapons, let's go ahead and shift our focus to our probably unofficial favorite state on this show, Florida. Florida.
Yup.
And this is the second time we mentioned St. Augustine on this show. But it's just probably a magical place, I think. So,
You
um,
have to imagine. Speaking of Flo Rida, can I give since he's from Jacksonville, can I give my Nardo Wick unofficial poetry slam of the week real quick here?
ooh, yes, you can. Let's go.
All right. This is by a young lady by the name of Sexy Red, because apparently that's a rapper now. And I'm just gonna read this song as it's written when you look up the lyrics. It goes, fuck my baby dad, fuck my baby dad, fuck my baby dad. I'm a fine ass bitch. I ain't in the house sad. Fuck my baby dad. And then the chorus goes, bow, 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 bow. That's that booty meat. I. Look at them booty cheeks. So just wanted to share that's my Nardo unofficial poetry slam of the week.
Ooh, ooh. Oh, okay. That how am I gonna beat that? I'm going with the OG here, Nardo Wick from Rich Maniac. All right. Um, wow, I can't say most of these words. Glizzy splash, this water, curse word. Glizzy flame, bid torchin, swear word. Them hollow tips torch, swear word. camera flash and portrait swear word. You know I ain't talking about no camera. You know I ain't talking about that burner swear word. And it kind of goes on from there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pull
I
up.
mean, he does sound like a rich maniac.
Yeah. Wow. And then he talks about fellatio. There we go. She playing with balls like soccer kids. No, I got that Draco and I got that Sig Sauer. What? Pull up in a Ford Focus, trying to kill everybody. Why are we listening to this? Money don't
Why would you
mean,
pull up in a Ford Focus if you're trying to kill everybody? It's the worst getaway car ever. Have you ever committed a crime?
dude. He mentions Ford Focus multiple times in this poetry.
Do you think Ford was like, man, we really need to get to a new demographic. What if we have like product placement within one of these hippity hop songs?
We have to reach the youth somehow. Jesus.
That's one way to do it. They're like, man, I need some street cred. I should go buy a Ford Focus.
So there you go. There's your Nardo Wick poetry slam for the day.
Yep.
And yet we wake up every morning, get a shower, drive into our job, and think we're changing the world. Oh God.
I think we just helped the world right there, honestly.
I think well, we didn't. We just read lyrics.
Yeah, exactly. We shared them with the masses.
The masses.
Maybe somebody this morning was like, man, I have all this booty meat, but I don't know what to do with it. I just wish somebody would just show some attention and then like, bow, wow, I will fuck my baby dad. All right.
Booty meat. I don't know. So I guess that's dark meat. Is that light meat? I don't know. I don't know. Does it taste like chicken? What the hell?
Depends. Just
So
depends.
many fucking questions. Speaking of which, let's get back to St. Augustine, Florida. The epicenter of our world yesterday, yesterday being the 24th of February,
Yep.
as St. Augustine hosted an event that should be known worldwide. Jay, I want you to give me your best beatboxing of Olympic sounds, the Olympic anthem. Let's go ahead and see what you got.
I don't even know the Olympic anthem.
The we're talking about the fucking Florida Man games.
Well, I can do that, but I just feel like the anthem of the Florida Man games would be like a Kid Rock song. So it'd be like, I am the bull god. I don't even know what a bull god is, but I know that Kid Rock believes he is one, even though he's from Detroit and there's no bulls in Detroit. And most people there are Arab and don't believe in God. So yeah, I just feel like he's a very confused young man. Kid Rock is. He's also not a kid. He's like 50, but yeah, adult rock.
Significantly older than us.
So adult rock is just a very confused man.
So yeah, it's very easy to get confused as to where we're going with this. Where we're going is there is an event called the Florida Man Games, all right, which we assume that Kid Rock was at and participating in. Okay, so you may be wondering, oh, the Florida Man Games, it's somebody who's just like making some fun and it's great. There's nothing to it. So you'd be dead ass fucking wrong. The events in the Florida Man Games include the weaponized pool noodle mud duel, the evading arrest obstacle course, in which they had real sheriff's deputies chasing you down, and the event known only as, and again, we should have waited for the poetry slam because this in and of itself is poetry. A catalytic converter, 2 bikes, and a handful of copper pipes race against time. Tell me Bill Shakespeare isn't just crying in his grave after hearing that. So Jay, we'll start with you for this one. Thoughts on the event? What is your strategy to win? And the question we didn't say out loud, but now Will, what in the actual fuck?
Yeah. So let's see. I think my actual thoughts on this are that we need to do this for every single state. Every state needs their own whatever state man games. So if it's Texas, it's like bull riding, and proving you're not gay. That's probably like their first biggest event. And then border chase. So there's like a giant wall and you have to like run away from the border police. Um if it's Alaska, it's like seal hunting and igloo building, and just spending the money that you get for just living there and just being there. So my general thoughts are every single state needs their own whatever man games because that would be incredible. My strategy to win, man. I think my strategy to win is twofold. One is do all the meth I can possibly find because that's just going to put me in that Florida man zone. And two, I think I just need a great pregame hype up mix of Kid Rock. I just need to listen to Kid Rock on repeat for like a week. And then I'm going to be so fucking fired up to punch somebody that I'm going to run through the cops that are chasing me down. I don't know if I'll win that way, but I'll win the day.
And we forgot to mention some of the other events here. So there's the Eat the Butt Challenge.
Hell yeah.
And in the words of the Florida Man Games, calm down. We're talking competitors must finish their pork butt platter in the fastest time to place highest in the initial bracket. And
Is there a lot of butt eating in Florida? Because that's new to me. I did not know that. We're learning.
We are learning. Let's see. There's also the Category 5 cash grab. Subject yourself to Cat 5 wins as you scramble to catch as much real cash as you can.
For some reason, I just see there being like 5 dudes just holding like box fans. Just like, that's it. It's the Florida man. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah. And then there's Florida Sumo. How we forgot this one, I don't know. Conquer the Florida Man game sumo ring as you try to blast your opponents out or spill their remaining beer. Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like a great party game, just period. Even if you're not in Florida, I feel like that could be a good time.
Yeah, and the official refs for these events were Nitro and Ice from the American Gladiators. You remember that show, yeah. So, yeah. Then there's also some other things that you could do, such as the mechanical gator ride, which doesn't have that much, information for it. But to get back to how am I winning this thing, I'm picking events I know I can win. All right. And I'm going to go with the mullet contest as my first point of contact here. All right.
It's a good start.
Oh, yeah. So Florida is well known for being the home of the most outrageous mullet cuts on the planet. Watch and pick the winners of the Florida Man Games mullet contest. Yeah, I am totally in for that.
I myself feel like chicken coop bingo might be the play here, but yeah.
Yep, I was going to say that's going to be number 2. So 2 chickens will decide whether you win or lose in this fun, dirty game inspired by our Floridian family in places like DeLand or Interlaken, where they literally do this for fun because they don't know cell phones exist yet. That is right from their website. But
yep.
Yeah. And then I don't know, like I get that this is all fun and games and stuff, but kind of the 911 fight night gives me kind of the heebies here a little, where firefighters and police like box each other. I don't know, it feels kind of weird to me, a little out of place.
I feel like they're not really, I mean, you can't arrest a Florida man. So at the same time, like, what are they really doing other than that at that point,
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so without looking at the website, here we go. Here's a quiz for Dragon Wrangler.
Let's go.
All right. So when I say Florida cultural demonstrations, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? And he left. That's a good
demonstrations. Florida cultural demonstrations. Let's see. Putting out meth house fires.
Yes.
Spring break.
Yes.
Let's see. I would say gold digging if you're in southeastern Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And probably most importantly of all, dragon wrestling or gator wrestling.
Yes. The modern day dragon wrangling, if you will.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, you were pretty spot on, I think. So it includes alligator shows, the teal
Yep.
pepper, which is Florida's hottest pepper vendors, SWAT vehicles. You did miss SWAT vehicles. Okay,
I
that's
did miss
cultural.
SWAT vehicles
Like, how is SWAT vehicles cultural? I
because you see them everywhere. It's part of their culture.
don't know. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And more, which I think would include the meth house fires. Um,
Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
yeah, so this is a real thing that happens, is what we're trying to get at, the Florida Man games. Um,
Yeah.
and it's just fucking entertaining. Like, good lord. I told some people about this yesterday and they were like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever." Um, People magazine in fact said of the Florida Man games, quote, games that let participants seemingly get an adrenaline rush minus any jail time, which is kind of a pretty consistent tagline for this.
I mean, not getting jail time in Florida is hard to do. So, you know,
Yeah. You,
uh,
you
if
know,
if if that hasn't sold you yet, also it's hosted by a gentleman by the name of OMG. It's Wicks, who's an
mm-hmm,
iconic Floridian.
mm-hmm. If you don't know who
Yep.
that is, fuck you.
If you don't know who that is, you don't belong in Florida.
Yeah. Um, yeah, he knows all about the insanity that Florida is capable of, and that's why he's the perfect host of the wildest Florida style competition on earth. And in his photo, he's just on this phone wearing a "What Would Floridians Do" T-shirt.
With his
Meth.
nipples just kind of poking through.
Oh, geez, I never noticed. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I could think of no better host. So
I'm
yeah,
saying
next,
it.
yeah, dude. So next year, if you're thinking, oh man, the winter's got me down, there's something that we can all look forward to, and that's the Florida Man games in 2025.
Snag those tickets now because, like Florida summer storms, they're here 1 minute and gone the next.
Even though you can't literally go and get next year's tickets, but that's okay. Just try it
Yep,
anyways. They'll figure it out. Yep. No
exactly.
problem.
Yep, they're not available just yet, but that's okay. It's okay.
Okay. So let's go ahead and get off of the Florida Man, unless you got lasting thoughts on the Florida Man competition.
No, my lasting thought is that whoever wins this, you have to live in Florida now. I assume people came from all over, and if you become the king of the Florida Man, it's your home now. You're not allowed to leave St. Augustine.
Yeah, that's probably part of the winnings is 6 months worth of lot fees paid. So there you go. You have to buy the
Yes.
place still, but yeah, you get your own trailer park.
It's a little upsetting that trailer pulling isn't one of their events.
Right? You would think as many trailer parks that are down there, as many tornado canes that they get. Yeah, come on.
Sharknadoes. I mean, come on.
Sharknadoes. All right. So
I do
fun.
think that I do think there's something to be said about state by state having it though. Like for
Mm.
you up in New Hampshire man would be like, how do you evade taxes and drive without car insurance?
While recorking your own bottle of booze. Yeah.
Exactly. Who's the best recorker?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What states? Oh, yeah. Before we get to
Yeah.
Giuseppe, we're going to go down that rabbit hole for a
Yep.
second. All right.
So
What?
California,
Go for it.
California, you have to make the most delicious taco
Okay.
because all that tacos are the best tacos.
I lost.
Uh, it's who can produce the least emissions while getting from point A to point B.
So we're just going to have Dieselgate all over again.
Yeah, exactly. And let's
They
see,
put the
fucking
cap
Florida.
on it.
The earthquake dome. We're gonna put people inside of a dome, and then the floor is literally just gonna shake, and whoever stands the longest wins.
Oh, that's great. I think the darkest one would be the Washington Man games. Just
Okay.
I mean, just with Kurt Cobain, like that's probably going to be one. And
Something in the way.
which, as Alonzo likes to remind us, was not written for the latest Batman. Disagree strongly.
Oh, he knew. He knew.
Yeah. Of course he did. He's like I predict one day there's going to be some shiny vampire who takes on the mantle of Bruce Wayne. Something in the way. Courtney Love. We're not going down that rabbit hole, but
Yeah,
I think that there's an event in there somewhere.
I agree.
Yeah, and then another one
I've,
is just got to be Fraser Crane, just like talking to you, like I'm listening, Seattle.
all right, I got a couple for you. I think Illinois, you've got a shootout and a rap battle. Chicago. I think North Dakota they're known for Mount Rushmore, so it's like a face sculpting challenge, but you do it in butter instead of rock. So it's like who can make the best butter face. Um,
There's two statements in that. That's wonderful.
exactly. And then the state of Arizona just likes to act like the Phoenix Coyotes. Now the Arizona Coyotes don't exist, so it's build an arena for the Coyotes, but you can only do it out of PVC pipe and styrofoam.
And it's got to somehow keep ice. So do you think
That's where the styrofoam comes in?
Yeah. So do you think, going back to the North Dakota Butterface sculpting contest, do you think the winner of the Butterface sculpting contest gets to go on our shitty show, reality TV
Yes.
show? Yes.
Yes, very much so. You need to bring your Butterface with you too.
It's like a puppet.
So what you have to do is so the way you get on, what you do is you have to make your own like self-portrait as a Butterface, and the chick on the other side, or if a woman wins, the dude on the other side, when they're talking to you, gets to just look at your Butterface that you sculpted yourself, but not see you. And they're like, I mean, this butter kind of looks like symmetrically correct. I guess they might be a decent looking person. I don't know.
Oh my god, I think that's the reality show. It's a Butterface sculpting competition dating reality TV
It's
show.
all
Yes.
self-portraits.
Yeah, they just put like microphones and receivers in them, and you just see the entire time it's just these two butter sculptures talking to each other.
Sculptures are talking to each other.
Can you imagine that? Like some fancy fucking steakhouse. You just walk in and there's some two Kermit the Frog looking motherfucking butter statues talking to each
We're
other.
just gonna call it Butterfaces are blind. How are we not picked up?
We ask you this.
I'm saying our ideas. We need to start trademarking these fucking things.
I know, right? In 3 years, it's going to be butter love. But our love, yeah. Oh my god, yeah. No, that is my intellectual property. God damn it! I just came up with that on the spot.
Trademarked.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit I would love to see. I mean, that's like some what was it? Green Acres or whatever kind of shit. A little bit. That is a blast from the past for you. Oh man, yeah. So if anybody makes a butter related dating TV show, prepare to hear from my fucking lawyers, assholes.
Yeah. Oh, that's happening. No, but going back to it here, I think Maryland, you have like a rat chase. You have to like chase a rat and catch it,
And season it with Old Bay.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was going to say a crab pinching contest where it's who can have the most crabs pinch them and hold on at one time.
Yeah, that just sounds like a normal day in Baltimore. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then
for that state too, for Maryland, man, you have to convince other people that you're a part of the South.
Mason-Dixon tightrope walk. You just literally, there's a tightrope on the Mason-Dixon line. You have to see who can walk the farthest on this Mason-Dixon tightrope.
With crabs hanging out.
And then actually, which side you fall onto matters too. If you fall onto the southern side, there's like a punishment versus the northern side. It's like if you fall off to the southern side, it's just like a pile of like Mickey Ultra bottles that you fall into. If you fall onto the northern side, it's I don't even know what we put on the northern side. Just like some oysters, like some like oyster shells that you'd fall onto.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, either way, that doesn't sound fun.
But... Well, then don't fall off.
It's
You
real
walk that
fucking simple.
line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Johnny Cash made an entire movie about it. You walk that fucking line.
Yeah. And then in Ohio, there's just an invisibility contest, and that's the Ohio Man Games because Ohio doesn't exist. So
I was gonna say the whole Midwest should be lumped in together to like a John Deere games type thing where it's just like farming and like ox pulling and mud bogs.
yeah, like the Rust Belt games or whatever. That'd be great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's
Uh,
like Pennsylvania is just like the Amish games. Like everything you do, you just do without power. So there's like butter churning, and it's like who can get from point A to point B the fastest without use of a motorized vehicle. But point A is like Pittsburgh, and point B is like Utah.
it's the longest games
Actually,
ever.
I'm trademarking that because that idea right there, we don't even have to call it the Amish games, is a great idea. Who can get from the East Coast to the West Coast the fastest without use of any motorized vehicle? That actually sounds really entertaining.
Yeah. So you couldn't like hitchhike off of
No, that'd be
no, you
inside of a
couldn't do that.
motorized
Okay.
vehicle. Now, you could hitchhike on the back of a bicycle
Okay. Or you could just use the bicycle. I think that'd
if
be the
you
way.
punch the child and take it. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, you start off with nothing. That'd
You
be
start
great.
off with nothing, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. You can beg, barter, and steal your way to the West Coast. You just can't do it with anything motorized. So if you get a bicycle, but it's got like a big ass fan on the back to push you, you're disqualified.
Ooh, yeah, that's motorized sort of.
That's what I'm saying.
So no swamp
It
boats either.
can't be an e-bike. Yep.
What parasailing though? Like if you could somehow like catch wind and just I don't know, like fly
That
there.
wouldn't be motorized. You'd be good.
Yeah.
Now, what I will say though is because you can't use anything motorized, that means you can't use like a GPS on your phone. So if you're starting with literally nothing somewhere on the East Coast, we're not going to put you on a major highway. You also have to figure out how to get to the West Coast without using anything motorized.
I
So you
like that.
might be fucking killing it. And you're like 9 hours in, you're like, shit, I started in Virginia and now I'm in fucking Massachusetts. I didn't go west at all. I'm actually worse off than where I started. Why did I take 95 north? Son of a bitch.
And then we could just see how inept we've become as a society from following basic directions and reading maps, which are not
Yeah,
motorized.
exactly.
So,
I think you shouldn't be allowed to use a compass either, though. I know compasses aren't motorized, but like in
no,
this situation, just
what?
because I think no compass allowed.
Why? They're going to be
Because then
lost enough.
that would make it too easy. But think about it, right? Like if you don't have directions, because like what I was thinking about is, man, like then the way to cheat this would be you just take a bike and you just ride the bike until you get there, right? Because you just jump on like the shoulder of like 40. But the issue is if you don't start anywhere near 40 and I don't give you directions, then at a certain point you're going to get to an impasse where it's like Oregon Trail. Oh, we'll call this a real life Oregon Trail. You're going to get to a point where like you have to cross like a river, like you hit like the Mississippi River and there's strong currents and you're like, man, I can't just ride a bike across this river. So what do I do now? I think that's what makes it entertaining. I don't
And
want you to just like randomly find the bridge in Memphis that takes you from Memphis to Arkansas to cross the river. Like you got to fucking figure this shit out yourself.
have
Maybe we
cops
start them
up.
in like maybe we start them in like upstate New York and you have to cut through Pennsylvania and then get across two Great Lakes because you got to go through Michigan and there's no highways that go east and west up there. So you're not allowed to get on a highway, but you also can't use anything motorized. So
Nor can you go north to Canada.
you better like barter with a summer camp to borrow their canoe to cross Lake Erie.
Yeah. 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 If we do it the northern route and not the southern route at all, like that would be great. And then we just have Kelsey Grammer at the end, like, hello, Seattle, I'm with listening. That'd be great. That would be fucking great. How are we not picked up for rate with the bullshit on TV today? How have we not been picked up? This is bullshit.
I just like, I don't know. I can just vision in my mind. So it's like you start in New York, and like you get into Pennsylvania, and as you're crossing through Amish country, there's like one dude on a bicycle, like pedaling away, and like they're like shunning him, like you heathen. And you just see like one dude competing against him in the back of a buggy with like two horses in front of it, just like trotting along, passing the bicycle.
Yeah, the horse and buggy, man. That might be the way to do this.
It will only get you from East Pennsylvania to West Pennsylvania, but it'll get you part of the way there.
And it's like per state, anytime you cross state lines, you have to like adopt like the antiquated modalities of transport like that. So I guess Pennsylvania, you could argue Ohio, they still have, you know, some duchies, as we like to call them.
A few, yeah.
Yeah, so you could probably use it there. Michigan, not so much.
Michigan, not at all. Michigan, I don't know. We're known for cherries and Paul Bunyan, so I guess you got to find a blue ox and ride that.
Blue ox wrangling.
Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah. This is much better than the Amazing Race.
Oh,
God.
actually, northern the UP shaped like a deer. You can ride a deer across the state of Michigan.
You just have to catch domesticated deer first, so no problem
Yeah,
there.
you just have to tame a wild deer and get him to go the right direction. You got to get him to go west because if he goes north, he's not helping you.
Nope. Follow the sun. That's all you got to do is follow the fucking sun.
Yep.
All right.
I think the prize for this, because we're talking about technology, the prize for this is you get like 10,000 shares of Apple stock.
It's actually
you have
really
to forget
good
technology in order to gain technology. Now you own technology.
And you get somebody who's never heard of the stock market before that wins.
I mean, it would have to be the most like off the grid person to win this game. So yeah,
oh yeah,
they'd be like, what the fuck is this? I thought I was getting 10,000 apples, not some weird fucking computer shit.
the CIA is going to show up at check-in and be like, "All right, which one of you Jeffrey Dahmer looking motherfuckers do we need to look after?" It's true. It's true.
Yep.
Just like it's true that now it's time for the Giuseppe Stromboli Redo of the Week.
I'm so excited for this one. I'm so excited for this one.
Yeah. The content is great, and then I've been building this up for Jay all week. In that usually Jay does up the script, which I think works well because it gets me out of my comfort zone a lot. But I saw one while I was down in Florida. I'm like, this is the unofficial sponsor this week. It's gotta be. All right. So so here it is. It's like Christmas for Jay over there. He's about to find out.
Like it, love it, dominate it. Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. All right. So this week's Giuseppe Stromboli Redo of the Week is unofficially sponsored by Newfoundland's finest brewery and museum. That's right, the Dildo Brewing Company and Museum. Dildo Brewing Company and Museum, established in 2018. We are passionate about the craft beer we brew in the community we serve.
What community is that? What fucking community is that?
Dildo. There's a place called Dildo in Newfoundland. Jeremy, grow up. So, yeah, one of the guys we went to Daytona with had on this shirt, and it just says Dildo Brewing Company and Museum on it. And so we went to
what's the museum of Dildo? Of the city of Dildo?
I don't know. And you know what? I like to keep it that way. So my imagination can run wild. That's why.
Yeah, fair.
And so we go to this bar, and he's wearing this shirt, and the lady just keeps looking over. Like the bartender is like, "Oh my god!" Like at one point he had to be like, "Man, my eyes are up here." So it got a little intense. But yeah, so to our friends, our unofficial sponsors at the Dildo Brewing Company and Museum in Newfoundland, we thank you for your imaginary support and hopefully one day real support. Before we get into,
you can get free shipping on online orders of over $200 within the U.S. from the Dildo Brewing Company.
That's right. So, if you need to buy all of your gifts for this year, Dildo Brewing Company and Museum in Newfoundland, go ahead and get that that giant batch order going. Batch and dildo. So Jay, what's this week's voice before we move on?
Sorry, you've got me distracted here. I think this week's voice should be just what you would imagine Nardo Wick to sound like.
So this week, my voice is coming from my heart. Okay. I love it.
Exactly. It's a little do-it-yourself here.
Okay. Oh, God. I should have actually listened to Nardo Wick once. That would have made this entire... Yeah,
Don't corrupt yourself like that. Don't corrupt yourself like that.
I'm gonna stay whole for you, fine viewers. I don't even know. God, what is? Okay, I think I got it. All right, 1 second. In honor of the famous remake of the popular series of books out of the UK, we honor the pool playing Bang
Release my
and
man.
an absolutely from New Jersey wizard with our Giuseppe Stromboli. We're doing the weekend, and officially sponsored by Dildo Brewing Company and Museum. Dildo Brewing
Bitches.
Bitches, Dildo Brewing Company and Museum. Our beers are an extension of ourselves, and it says it on their website. So I put it there, which is hilarious. This week we get high as apple pie in the sky underneath a sun that can fry. Holland Swad and Leyland Ayala Doliente have never heard the term "don't smoke your own stash." And this is how I think Nardo Wick talks too. He just probably has that rap voice, but normally it's just like out, out there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hopefully you can.
I mean, I would imagine every song to be like that. She asking me, Nardo, why are you leaving? Because I released my semen. I just assume that's how everybody in Jacksonville talks, if I'm being honest with you here.
Oh my God.
Come to Jacksonville. You want to go to a Jaguars game?
No, nobody wants to go. Nobody does.
True.
All right, so the two men, Holland Sword and Leland, who fucking comes up with these names? The two men reportedly had the idea to smuggle 20 pounds of weed, stinky weed, from Las Vegas to Bozeman, Montana. Along the way, they decided to partake in a little bit of the devil's lettuce, little puff, pass, all that kind of thing. So much so, in fact, that paranoia set in, leading the men to believe that the cops were following them. So what does any pothead do? Call the police and ask to turn themselves in because they are docile creatures. The call reportedly went as follows. And now I'm gonna try and switch into like a stoner voice. So maybe Nardo Wick as like a stoner in his regular voice.
Are you trying to say that Nardo Wick's not traditionally a stoner, just in life?
Hey, I don't know him. I don't know
straight
him.
edge. Nardo Wick, very straight edge kind of guy.
It could be. It could be. You never know. I don't. So
I'm married to the game. I don't believe in any performance decreasing or enhancing substances.
Hi, we're two dumbasses that get caught trying to bring stuff through your border, and all of you cops are just driving around as like a bunch of jackwagons, and I just like for you guys to end it. If you could help me out with that, we would like to just get on with it. So yeah, that's exactly how that call went. Perfect. I mean, it was just spot on. Okay.
Verbatim.
Okay, Jay. So in this scenario, you're the Idaho police. You know that these two stoned as fuck dumbasses are guilty, but you actually do want to fuck with them. So how do you play with their paranoia to remind them that these schnozberries sometimes do taste like schnozberries before ultimately making the arrest? So how do you fuck with them? And then how do you cuff them?
All right. So idea number two, I like a lot. So I'm gonna start with idea number one here. So idea number one, you ever seen the movie The Interview, where basically like they're like, oh yeah, we feed all of our people, and then James Franco goes into the grocery store and everything's plastic.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he like tries to take the bite of the apple. He's like, it's plastic. We're gonna set up a whole fake town for these guys to drive through, and we're gonna call it Weedtropolis. And so
Weedtropolis, Montana.
Weedtropolis, Idaho, Weedtropolis, Montana, wherever. When they get there, we're going to have a whole bunch of cardboard buildings, and it's like cannabis dispensary, and it's like Doritos factory, and it's like Willie Nelson Museum. And they're driving into this town, and they're like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. All the other stones are like, wow, bro, this is super fucking cool. And so they get there like, we gotta stop and get some Doritos in the museum and the thing. And so then They stop and they get out and they go store to store, but because they're cardboard, there's no door to open. So they're like trying to grab at this handle that's just drawn onto the magic marker, and they're like, "Whoa, bro, I can't open the door, man." And so you see,
Door's
and they're like,
whack.
"Man, this cannabis dispensary is just too radical. I gotta go over to the museum." And then they go over to the museum and it's the same thing. It's also just drawn on in marker. And they're like, "Why does no door open for me when I put the weed in my brain, bro?" And so you just see how long it takes them to get back in their car and drive off. And then when they do, you pull them over and it's great. Um, the other idea that I had though, and I was thinking about this morning, I think it'd be great. This is more of a really a study in human sociology. So these guys pull into town, and you're like, well, these guys are blazed out of their mind. You know what we need to do? We need to fuck with them, and we need to see how long this will last for before they just give up, because I truly think this could go on forever. So what you do is you find a little block within your town, like a square block, right? Where there's like a road, road. And you put 4 signs up that say free Funyuns this way. And it's like an arrow pointing to the right.
Yes.
And then you put another one that says free Funyuns this way, free Funyuns this way, free Funyuns this way. And you see how many times they go in the same circle searching for these free Funyuns before they finally give up, or does it literally just last forever? And if it does, then guess what? They're already basically in jail at that point anyway. You don't even have to arrest them.
The jail of their mind, their Funyunless mind.
Exactly.
Oh, that's great. I think every once in a while you got to like throw a Taco Bell like burrito at them or something, just like at the car, just to fuck with them with that.
Every now and then when you get here, it's like Taco Bell this way, so you keep them going and then just get them coming back the other way, and they're like, "Oh wait, bro, but Funyuns, we got to go get that
again." Why is it so far away? No.
Why do these Funyuns not get sold at the Taco Bell, bro?
The entrepreneurs, man. Yeah.
I'm gonna get to that Taco Bell. I'm gonna order so many Big Macs.
We would have given you the double down sandwich by KFC, because there are Taco Bell KFCs out there. So yeah, what, 2 chicken sandwiches and what? Yeah, okay. So how are we fucking with these guys? I like the idea of mental warfare as well. So if I'm the cop, let's say you hear this and it gets like, communicated ahead of time, so you got a little bit of time to react, right? So assuming you got like 5-10 minutes to prepare for this car coming to your town, like somebody comes over like, hey Steve, I think there's gonna be some people coming into your town that are a little bit baked over. And so you get this, you fine transmission, you think, okay, how am I gonna really fuck with them? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to the Domino's, okay, in my cop car, and be like, sir, we need to serve justice, so I need a pepperoni pizza right now in a uniform. Okay. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put that uniform on under my cop uniform, and then I'm going to take that pizza and I'm going to get in my cruiser and wait for him. Then I'm going to pull him over and then walk up like a Domino's guy. Okay. So I'm going to walk up with this pizza and be like, hey guys, it's Domino's mobile delivery. And then they're going to be just baked out of their minds, like, oh my God, pepperoni, bro. And then they're gonna be like, oh thanks man. I'm gonna be like, your mobile payment didn't go through though, and I don't have my card reader on me, so it's got to be cash only. And then they're not gonna have cash on them. No way, this is 2024, they're not gonna have that shit. So they're like, what the fuck, man, we can't pay for this pizza. And then I'd be like, oh, so you were trying to steal from Domino's? You were trying to steal from fucking hold on a second. And then I'm going back to the police cruiser and I'm changing back into my cop outfit and showing up like, guys, robbery is a crime. And then they'll be, oh my God, it's the fucking cop. Why does he fucking look like the Domino's guy, man? And then just kind of continue this cycle until I have good and well psychologically fucked with them. And then arrest them for having 20 pounds of stanky weed on federal charges.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's how I would do it. Yeah, so very similar. Very similar to
I
you.
can't pull over any farther, man.
We're pulled over on life, bro. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly how that's going to go. So we covered a lot of ground today, and of course we went back to Florida. So with that, week 6 is in the books of Floral Foolishness.
Sports.
Sports. Where it's always island time, and we thank you for joining us this week and hope you had as much fun doing this as we did. So I'm Stoczy, as always, joined by the Dragon Wrangler. And as always, you stay tropical, South Dildo, Newfoundland.
Yeah.